Max Pechstein, a key figure in early 20th century German Expressionism, was born as Hermann Max Pechstein on December 31, 1881, in Zwickau, Germany. His rise from a modest background to prominence in the avant-garde art world is a story of talent, determination, and resilience, set against the backdrop of a rapidly changing Europe. Pechstein was the son of a craftsman, a background that influenced his early interest in artistry and design. His father, a decorator and house painter, exposed him to decorative techniques and encouraged his artistic leanings. Young Pechstein showed an early aptitude for drawing, a talent that led him to pursue formal art education despite the financial constraints of his working-class upbringing. In 1896, at the age of 15, Pechstein began an apprenticeship as a decorative painter. This hands-on experience gave him practical skills, but it was the encouragement of his instructors and peers that motivated him to aim higher. After completing his apprenticeship in 1900, he enrolled at the Dresden School of Applied Arts, Kunstgewerbeschule, where he studied decorative arts and gained a thorough grounding in traditional artistic techniques. His training at Dresden was rigorous, emphasizing craftsmanship alongside artistic innovation. Pechstein became increasingly drawn to fine art, particularly painting, and sought opportunities to expand his skill set. By 1903, his ambition led him to transfer to the Dresden Academy of Fine Arts, where he studied under Otto Gussmann. Under Gussmann's mentorship, Pechstein developed his technical abilities while beginning to explore the artistic philosophies that would later define his career. Pechstein's breakthrough came in 1906 when he joined the revolutionary artist group Die Brücke, the Bridge. Founded the previous year in Dresden by Ernst Ludwig Kirchner, Fritz Bleyl, Erich Heckel, and Carl Schmidt-Rottluff, Die Brücke sought to break free from academic traditions and embrace a more emotive, experimental approach to art. The group was heavily influenced by non-Western art, particularly African and oceanic carvings, as well as by the expressive power of artists like Vincent van Gogh and Edvard Munch. Pechstein quickly distinguished himself within Die Brücke. His background in design and decoration allowed him to bring a unique perspective to the group's collective work. He shared their interest in bold colors, simplified forms, and the emotive possibilities of line and composition. Unlike some of his peers, who were largely self-taught, Pechstein's academic training gave his work a polished quality that balanced the raw, experimental ethos of the group. During his time with Die Brücke, Pechstein contributed to the group's exhibitions and publications, including the Brücke portfolios, which showcased their woodcuts, lithographs, and drawings. These works often depicted scenes of nature, urban life, and human intimacy, rendered in a style that was both expressive and dynamic. Pechstein's art during this period reflected his growing interest in the interplay between nature and human experience, a theme that would remain central to his work throughout his career. Pechstein's commitment to artistic exploration led him to travel extensively, seeking inspiration from different cultures and environments. In 1907, he visited Italy, where he studied Renaissance art and absorbed the Mediterranean light and landscape. This trip marked the beginning of his lifelong fascination with the relationship between natural settings and artistic expression. In 1910, Pechstein traveled to Paris, where he encountered the works of the Fauves, including Henri Matisse and André Derain. The Fauvist emphasis on vibrant, non-naturalistic color deeply resonated with Pechstein, who began incorporating similar techniques into his own work. Paris also exposed him to modernist innovations and reinforced his belief in the power of art to transcend conventional boundaries. One of the most transformative experiences of Pechstein's career came in 1914, when he traveled to the South Pacific. He spent several months in the Palau Islands, then a German colony, where he immersed himself in the local culture and environment. The vivid colors, natural beauty, and communal way of life profoundly influenced his art, leading to a series of works that celebrated the harmony between humanity and nature. Pechstein's time in the Pacific also reinforced his interest in non-Western art, which he saw as a source of vitality and authenticity lacking in European traditions. Despite his contributions to Die Brücke, Pechstein's relationship with the group became strained over time. His academic training and independent spirit set him apart from his peers, who valued collective experimentation over individual recognition. In 1912, Pechstein left the group, a decision that marked a turning point in his career. While he remained committed to the ideals of Expressionism, he sought greater freedom to pursue his artistic vision. After leaving Die Brücke, Pechstein joined the Berlin Secession, an association of artists who opposed the conservative policies of the German art establishment. His association with the secessionists allowed him to exhibit his work more widely and to gain recognition as an independent artist. However, his work retained the bold, emotive quality that had defined his contributions to Die Brücke, reflecting his continued commitment to the expressive power of art. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 interrupted Pechstein's artistic pursuits. He was drafted into the German army and served as a soldier on the Eastern Front. The war was a deeply traumatic experience for Pechstein, as it was for many of his contemporaries. The horrors of conflict and the loss of friends and colleagues left a lasting impact on his worldview, which began to shift toward a more somber and introspective perspective. Despite the challenges of wartime, Pechstein continued to create art whenever possible. His works from this period often reflect a sense of loss and alienation, as well as a longing for peace and stability. After the war ended in 1918, Pechstein returned to Berlin, where he resumed his career and began rebuilding his life. The 1920s marked a period of renewal and achievement for Pechstein. He became an influential figure in the Berlin art scene, where he was celebrated for his vibrant use of color and his ability to capture the emotional essence of his subjects. His works from this period often depict scenes of leisure, such as beach landscapes and portraits of friends and family, reflecting a desire to reclaim a sense of joy and normalcy after the devastation of war. In 1923, Pechstein was appointed a professor at the Prussian Academy of Arts in Berlin, a position that cemented his status as one of Germany's leading artists. He also became involved in the new objectivity movement, which emphasized realism and social commentary in response to the political and economic upheavals of the Weimar Republic. Pechstein's art during the 1920s and early 1930s continued to evolve, incorporating elements of realism and abstraction while maintaining his characteristic boldness and emotional intensity. His work was widely exhibited and collected, earning him both critical acclaim and financial success. The 1930s were a turbulent time for Max Pechstein, as for many artists in Germany. The rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime in 1933 marked a decisive shift in the cultural and political landscape, with catastrophic consequences for modernist art. The Nazis viewed Expressionism and other avant-garde movements as degenerate, labeling them as antithetical to their vision of Aryan purity and traditional values. Pechstein, whose work epitomized the emotive and experimental spirit of Expressionism, was an inevitable target. In 1933, Pechstein was dismissed from his professorship at the Prussian Academy of Arts. Like many of his contemporaries, he was blacklisted and banned from exhibiting his work in Germany. The Nazis confiscated 326 of his artworks from public collections, many of which were displayed in the infamous Degenerate Art, Entartete Kunst, exhibition of 1937. This exhibit aimed to ridicule modernist art, showcasing pieces by Pechstein, Wassily Kandinsky, Emil Nolde, and others alongside mocking commentary. For Pechstein, this period was deeply demoralizing. His art, once celebrated for its vitality and innovation, was now vilified as dangerous and subversive. Yet, even under these oppressive conditions, he continued to create.